I'm 60 Second Spidey, and I'm recapping mainline Spider-Man comics in timeline order. Here's part 8. Spider-Man stops a seemingly rampaging Human Torch. Turns out he messed up a movie shoot, but another producer invites them both out to Hollywood to make a movie. Some bizarre circumstances lead to Spidey and Torch fighting once again, until they realize it's all been a ploy by Mysterio and Wizard. They chase the villains down, obviously stopping to fight a giant robot ape, before arresting the two crooks. Luckily, the reward money gets broke boy Peter back to New York City. At school, Professor Miles Warren invites Peter and Gwen Stacy to a science showcase, which of course Doc Ock interrupts. Swirling his arms like a propeller, he spreads tear gas and tries to steal the weapon, but Spider-Man stops him and sticks a tracer on his back. Later, Aunt May tells Peter she is looking for a new tenant. Then Spider-Man follows the tracer, but falls into an explosive trap Ock left for him, just narrowly escaping. Doc Ock accepts the tenant wanted ad that Aunt May made, even though he literally kidnapped her before she thinks he's misunderstood. Peter meets the Daily Bugle's new editor, Robbie Robertson, before finding out about Aunt May's new living situation. Not wanting Aunt May to get hurt, he camps outside as Spider-Man, but Ock sends his goons to tackle the web slinger. Eventually, Spidey and Doctor Octopus fight inside Aunt May's house, but when she sees the fight, she thinks Spidey is a villain and faints. Spider-Man is trying to find Doctor Octopus after the incident at Aunt May's house, but Ock and his goons are able to hijack a convoy and steal the new weapon he coveted a couple issues ago. Spider-Man intervenes, of course, fighting Octavius before Otto blasts him with the experimental weapon. It somehow gives Spidey amnesia, so Ock convinces him that they are partners in crime. After Dr. Octopus gave him amnesia last issue, Spidey thinks they are partners, as Pete's family and friends are worried he's gone missing. Ock sends Peter on a mission where he steals a science thingy, but subconsciously he leaves a map to Otto's hideout. When Dr. Octopus realizes this, he turns on Spidey once again as the military storm the hideout. Spider-Man takes down Dr. Octopus as the soldiers arrest him, but Spidey escapes and still has no idea who he really is. After his run-in with Dr. Octopus, Spider-Man still doesn't know who he really is, as Lord Plunder, aka Kazar, comes to New York City and is convinced by Jonah to attack Spidey. After Harry finds a spider tracer in Peter's room, the whole city thinks Spider-Man has kidnapped Pete, but Police Captain George Stacy believes Spider-Man's amnesia story. Kazar ends up fighting Spider-Man, but when Peter has the upper hand, Kazar's saber-toothed cat Sabu swoops in, knocking him into the lake. Spider-Man was defeated by Kazar last issue, but thankfully the cold water he was knocked into cured his amnesia. Don't ask questions. Meanwhile, scientist Spencer Smythe is back with a new, deadlier Spider Slayer, so Jonah pilots it and follows the Spider's scent. The new Slayer comes equipped without any weapon set to stun, so even Jameson thinks this is too far. Smythe takes the controls as Peter looks up Smythe's address in the phone book, obviously. Peter lures the robot to the laboratory because he had the insane foresight to know the robot would be overwhelmed by the test spider's scent and explodes. Big design flaw. Finally recovered from amnesia, Peter visits his worried Aunt May, then tells police a brainwashed Spidey kidnapped him but freed him when he was cured. Gwen Stacy is very happy Peter is finally back, so the gang goes to celebrate at the club Mary Jane now dances at. MJ is told to take photos of the VIPs, not realizing the camera actually brainwashes the patrons. Realizing something is up, Peter goes backstage as Spidey and fights criminals, saving MJ before coming face to face with the Kingpin. Spider-Man is fighting Kingpin after uncovering his brainwashing scheme, but he is forced to flee as Kingpin secretly finishes the brainwashing of Captain George Stacy. When Peter visits Gwen, her now brainwashed father attacks him, but Gwen thinks Peter was the instigator and disowns him. Spider-Man tails Captain Stacy to get to the bottom of things and photographs him robbing the police station, exposing him in the Daily Bugle. Gwen Stacy is distraught after learning her father robbed the police station as Spider-Man looks for Kingpin, who brainwashed Gwen's dad last issue. It turns out Kingpin's partner is an Oscorp employee named Dr. Winkler, and they've hidden the machine in his lab. When they kidnap Gwen and her father for further brainwashing, Spider-Man intervenes, fighting Kingpin and exploding the machine. Spidey saves Gwen and her father in the nick of time as Gwen's dad's brainwashing ends, proving he was an innocent victim all along. The inhuman Medusa is in New York City showing off her living hair when an ad executive recruits her to promote some hair products. Medusa quickly tires of making advertisements and quits, so the exec tells Spider-Man she attacked him to heal his fragile ego. Spidey takes on Medusa, battling with her superhuman hair before realizing he has been lied to, so he exposes the company and ruins all their lives. The original Vulture, Adrian Toomes, has new, more powerful wings, so he brings his original pair to the second Vulture, Blackie Drago, who's in prison. After escaping custody, Vulture 1 reveals he freed Vulture 2 so he could prove that he was better, so the two fight. Spider-Man joins in, and Vulture 2 is beaten so bad he retires on the spot. And of course, Jonah Jameson tries to help Vulture win. Spidey fakes a fall and pretends to be knocked out, then breaks the new wings that gave the Vulture super strength. So the old man flies away, leaving Spider-Man passed out in the middle of the street. After fighting Vulture, Spider-Man is knocked out in the street, so the police lock him up in a jail cell. Captain Stacy wants Spidey to go free, but gets captured by inmates trying to escape. Afraid Captain Stacy will get hurt, Spidey pretends to join the escapees, sneaking into the offices and shutting down the jail's power. Under the cover of darkness, Spidey silently knocks out all the prisoners and saves Captain Stacy before breaking out of jail himself. Broke boy Peter is selling his motorcycle when Mysterio comes looking for Spidey, but at least Gwen Stacy still has a thing for Peter. Mysterio uses optical illusions and a TV takeover to bait Spidey into a fight, which of course works as Spider-Man tracks down Mysterio, who has a model carnival and a shrink ray. Spider-Man is unfortunately zapped with the ray and wakes up in the toy carnival to the sight of a giant Mysterio. After being shrunken in place in a toy carnival last issue, Spider-Man is avoiding attacks by a now giant Mysterio. He runs through the carnival, avoiding attacks in the typical attractions like a house of mirrors and a haunted house that definitely isn't up to code. Mysterio looms large over Spidey, but something is very fishy. Climbing a glowing tower, Spider-Man realizes he was placed in a real carnival after being knocked out last issue. Seems like Mysterio overthought this one. Thanks for watching part 8 of my Spider-Man timeline recap. Like, follow, and subscribe as I post daily shorts and long-form compilations.